I once met an old man when I was wandering the Windwalker steps. He looked at me dead in the eye and said, "It ain't a good sign when you hear brass bands in the ruins of the old Lordship, sir. Something ain't right there. I'm telling you all, something's dark." I wasn't very convinced by his old wife's tale, but turns out I was wrong. Hello, squires and spooky viewers. Bonus tale this month because, well, spooky time. One rule, this tale will not contain screamers. I mean, this is utterly rude and predictable and boo! Sorry, couldn't resist. There's plenty of ghost and monster stories in Elderia. The problem about it? All true. From the vampire family in Fairless down to the single most strange creaking cabinet in an abandoned manor. All true. But my favorite of them all? The Masquerade. Also called the Midnight Demons, these ghosts of dead villagers are roaming free in the Windwalker steppes, making deals with aspiring warlocks and greedy people in search of easy powers. The Masquerade is made of 7 ghosts, each unique in their goals and ways. They were friends once, and to better understand these damned revenants, I have to tell you the story of the village of Lordship. Our tale begins in a quaint little village in the Windwalker steppes. By all accounts, said village was nothing out of the ordinary except for one very special tradition: partying. Yes! Every week the villagers of Lordship threw these huge parties, filled of music, good food and utter joy. Because of the hostility of the steppes, these people understood well the old saying, "Seize the day," and any occasion to celebrate was acted upon. A birth? Party time. Successful hunt? Party time. Death of an elder? Morning time. Come on, let's be respectful. But death being nothing but a step in the journey of one's soul, after the morning came, you guessed it, party time. Oh, Christ. The parties the parties coming out of Lordship were so enthralling that on some occasions spirits would come and celebrate with the living. How lovely, and a mouthful. But in the year 643 of the era of the Pantheon, that phenomenon piqued the interest of a mage. He approached the small village under the guise of a humble alchemist, hid magic runes made to trap the spirits all around the village, and waited for the party in order to trap them and study the spirits. Unfortunately, the magic that allowed spirit to cross the barrier between worlds also messed with the magic in general, unbeknownst to the wizard, unfortunately. When the next and final party started, the wizard activated his runes and something dreadful happened. The magic went awry, and the spirits became tethered to the bodies of the living. But one body cannot host 2 souls, unless they're born with them, which is quite rare. And so the villagers became mad, the pain and agony forcing them all to turn on each other, and the architect of their demise got too. In their newly developed twisted sense of amusement, this action, this massacre, was nothing but the festivities they were trying to do, in their mind at least. In one fateful night, the nearly 100 inhabitants of Lordship all perished in the hand of their friends and families. All but 7 of them. 7 torn minds, driven to insanity because of spirits forced to live in them. Doomed to immortality and granted immense powers by the spirits inside them, but forced to remain close to the village due to the ritual, these 7 monstrosities now roam the steppes, looking to make deals with people to satisfy their need to keep the party going. Their leader is called Monsieur The Mayor. His goal in unlife is to be the only village ruler in the world. Anyone who makes a pact with him has to kill any mayor, chief, elected official, or authority figure they encounter in his name. He often appears as an authoritatively dressed individual, proudly displaying his mayor's medal and arrogant posture. The second ghost of the Masquerade is called the Lord Condottière. He was a former soldier in charge of protecting the village. He now wants his followers to cause disorder in densely populated areas, forcing military figures to work themselves to death in order to stop the chaos. He appears as a man dressed in a soldier's uniform with a cape, held in place by a brooch representing his title. Another ghost of the Masquerade was an unfortunate soul. His name is Trajeudi. He was a member of a troupe of traveling artists. He expects his followers to kill people in a spectacular fashion, with each murder being a true performance. He appears as a humanoid, wearing a skeleton mask, a top hat, and a large fur coat. The next ghosts are actually the only surviving couple. They were so in love that they refused to lay hands on one another during the massacre. Messire the cook and Lady Meunière, named after the town's cook and his middle wife, is a ghostly duo who seeks only the finest dishes on the continent, whether made from rare animals or famous individuals. They often appear together in their work clothes, happy and passionately in love with each other. His Lordship The Beggar. This ghost has a very simple goal, actually. He wants to accumulate as much wealth as possible, whether through begging, theft, burglary, fraud, or murder. He often wanders around dressed as a traveler in second-hand clothes that are torn and tattered, and he always begins his pacts with a firm, ghostly handshake. The last of the masqueraders is called the Apothycary Baron. Although more obscure than the others, his agenda is to find a potion capable of instilling joy and a festive spirit in anyone who drinks it. Despite being simple in appearance, he will never be satisfied until the results of his experiments are revealed to the whole world. He appears as a humble healer dressed in a long purple robe, with tousled hair and a small pair of glasses on his nose. Making a pact with any of these entities may grant you tremendous powers, dear squires. Let me tell you, you will regret it, no matter what. Because whenever a follower of the Masquerade doesn't please their ghostly master or mistress, their fate is already drawn in blood. And most of the time, it is yours. 'Twas the Knight from Elderia, spooky to serve.